Stress can be an overwhelming. How to change habits and routines, harnessing emotions for a successful future, the quantum model, and the benefits of meditation. By the end of this video, you will be equipped with all the tools you need to unlock emotional freedom and create a healthier, happier life. Friends, how many of you looking to improve your mind-body health? Dr. Joe is a New York Times best-selling author and sought-after speaker in the world, specializing in neuroscience, epigenetics, and quantum physics. Through his research, he seeks to advance both scientific knowledge and public understanding of mind-derived health optimization. He is a faculty member at Quantum University, the Omega Institute for Holistic Studies, and Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health, just to name a few. Additionally, he is an invited chair of the research committee at Life University in Atlanta, as well as a corporate consultant. His work focuses on helping individuals understand how they can use their thoughts to improve their wellness. In this section, we'll be exploring some of the ways that Dr. Joe has helped people improve their mind-body health, both through his research and through his own personal experience. We'll also be taking a look at some of the technologies that he uses in order to explore these effects more deeply. So read on and learn how you too can achieve better mind-body health. The effects of habits on autonomy. Have you ever had a habit that you didn't even know you had? Maybe you always eat the same breakfast, or you check your email first thing in the morning. These are habits, and they're something that we develop over time. Each morning, we start to think about our problems, based on the familiar memories in our brains connected to past experiences. These thoughts and feelings create our state of being for the day. While technology plays a large role in many people's early morning routines, it can also have negative consequences. For example, most individuals feel connected by the time they leave for work each day, because they're checking their email or social media apps. This results in most individuals feeling like they're on autopilot. Unfortunately, this type of routine can take away an individual's autonomy, sometimes without them even realizing it. 95% of who people are by their mid-30s is composed of memorized habits, reactions, and hardwired behaviors resulting from repeating certain activities over long periods of time. So if you want to change your life for the better, start changing your habits today. Making changes, exploring the relationship between the conscious and subconscious minds. It's often thought that the conscious and subconscious minds are separated by the analytical mind, which is a thinking mind that sits in the middle of the two. However, this isn't always the case. The conscious and subconscious minds are actually separated by the analytical mind, which is a part of our brain that sits between our conscious and subconscious minds. Meditation can help someone learn to control this part of their brain, which can then lead to making changes in their life. Making changes requires an individual to get past their analytical mind. This part of our brain is responsible for taking in all of the information we encounter and filtering it through our emotions before making decisions. Unfortunately, many people wait for illnesses or tragedies in order to make up their minds about making a change. But waiting is not necessary. Changes can be made from both a state of joy or pain and suffering, regardless of how traumatic an event might be, and there's no need to feel ashamed or scared about it. Traumatic events result in a higher emotional quotient, which takes a snapshot of that experience and causes people to think neurologically within its circuitry, as well as feel chemically within its boundaries. Understanding why it's so hard for people to get past trauma lies in the fact that they must allow themselves time after an emotional event, hours or days, forming what is called a mood. If the same reaction goes on weeks or months, this forms temperament. However, with enough patience and effort, plus some guidance from professionals who understand trauma, change can happen. The cycle of survival. How emotional reactions shape personality traits. There's a saying that goes something like, "Life is what you make it and how you make it." It's true. The choices we make dictate the path our lives take. And, in many ways, our personalities are shaped by the emotions that we experience. When an event occurs, it can lead to the development of a personality trait if the same emotional reaction is repeated over time. For example, if you experience anxiety every time you have to speak in public, your anxiety will become habitual and develop into a personality trait. This is because your brain has been programmed to react in a certain way, based on your past experiences, whether those experiences were positive or negative. Many people live in a state of stress and survival, where they constantly anticipate worst-case scenarios based on past experiences. This causes one's body to have panic attacks due to emotions being subconsciously programmed through repetition. Oftentimes, individuals are addicted to the rush that comes with these emotions and use problems as a way to reaffirm their limitations. The body doesn't differentiate between external experiences creating emotion and thought processes, producing emotion, so people become stuck in this cycle of living in the past, which creates difficulty when trying to change. Fortunately, there are ways out of this cycle through education, therapy, and self-reflection, among others, if you want to change your personality traits or break free from stress-related problems. It's important that you start recognizing these patterns early on, so that you can take action before they get too entrenched. Overcoming unfamiliarity. How to change habits and routines. We all know that change can be difficult. It often feels uncomfortable because of the way neurons fire and create connections in the brain. This hardwiring makes it difficult to change habits as our mind prefers familiarity over unfamiliarity. However, with practice, we can override this hardwired behavior and make positive changes in our lives. Change often feels uncomfortable because of the way neurons fire and create connections in the brain. When we are faced with an unfamiliar situation, our brain automatically activates a loop that is easily accessed. This loop creates a sense of familiarity or comfort, which overrides any discomfort we may feel. The reason why this cycle is so powerful is because emotions are linked to our thoughts. If we have fearful thoughts, for example, it will lead us to feeling anxious. When we decide to make a different choice, our body reacts and begins trying to bring us back into familiar territory. By influencing our minds with negative self-talk, such as self-doubt or excuses. The unconscious mind is what drives the actions of an individual, based on these thought patterns accumulated over time since childhood. When you understand how your mind works and start challenging these negative thought patterns regularly, you can begin making positive changes in your life, regardless of how uncomfortable they may initially feel. Harness your emotions for a successful future. Emotions are powerful things. They can help us to connect with others, motivate us to work hard, and make us happy. However, emotions can also be a source of pain and stress. As we go through the day, our emotions tend to follow a predictable course. We feel upset at one point and then hopeful later on. For example, this is known as Newtonian physics, the world that we live in where objects and events follow natural laws without any intervention from us. However, this Newtonian world is not the only world that exists. There is a second world where thoughts and emotions have power on their own. In this world, our emotions are not limited by what's happening in our outer world. We can choose how we feel at any given moment, regardless of what's happening around us. This is the emotional state that we want to aim for, one where we are in control of our thoughts and feelings instead of being controlled by them. To reach this state, it's important to learn how to harness our emotions. by closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing an action or reaction by imagining yourself doing it successfully. You can create a software program that maps out a successful future for yourself. This program will help you visualize all the steps that need to be taken in order to reach your goal, whether that's making money or getting better grades. Once you have learned how to harness your emotions, it's important to keep practicing them throughout the day so that they stay strong during challenging situations or when things don't go as planned. And finally, don't wait for success or happiness before feeling empowered. Practice feeling these feelings now before they become habits. By living in abundance, now rather than waiting for something outside of ourselves to change how we feel inside, we can break free from lack thinking and move towards greater success and happiness in life. Quantum model. Creating reality through empowerment and visualization. The quantum model is an amazingly powerful tool that can help us to create our own realities in life. This model suggests that the moment we start to feel empowered, abundant, and whole, we are actively creating our own success in life. In order to break free from negative emotions, which can lead to predictable and unconscious cycles, it is important to begin a visualization process, which emphasizes an empowering future self. Meditation can be used as an effective tool in this process of replacing old memories with new visions for the future. Many people unconsciously use their environment, such as bosses or enemies, to reaffirm addictions like judgment or hatred, revealing how important it is for us all to pay close attention to our surrounding influences when developing personal realities and personalities. We often take things for granted, but by understanding the quantum model, we can begin to change the way we think about ourselves and our lives. The benefits of meditation. Unlocking emotional freedom and brain changes. There are countless benefits to meditation, and we've outlined just a few of the biggest here. By practicing meditation, you can disconnect from the external environment and reduce sensory stimuli. This allows one to feel something greater than their physical conditions. In turn, this leads to emotional freedom and changes in brain activity. One of the most important things about meditation is that it allows individuals to become aware of how their body craves predictable chemical states, such as those associated with specific emotions in familiar settings. By re-anchoring one's attention back into the present moment despite these cravings for past experiences, it is possible to train oneself out of relying on this behavior pattern and find liberation from emotional chains that keep oneself stuck in the past. Research has even revealed evidence of this phenomenon seen through brain scan results, where an increased awareness leads to a transition from particle matter to energy waves when settling down into mindfulness via meditation practices. Thanks for watching this video till end. We have provided you with all of the knowledge and tools necessary to unlock emotional freedom and create a healthier, happier life. So don't delay any longer. Start taking action today by meditating regularly so that you can transform stress into well-being and start living your best life.